My Hobonichi order just came in and I'm so excited to share it with you guys. The first thing we need to talk about though is where I ordered from. So I did order from Atlas Stationers in Chicago. I am an affiliate with them, which is part of the reason I ordered from them. But also when I was evaluating prices and what was going to be more efficient, it was approximately the same price or within a couple dollars to order from either one. However, there was so much in shipping and tariff fees that it didn't make sense this year, especially with the fact that I only wanted to order the planner. I did consider getting a cover this year, but because all of the covers came with a Hobonichi, if I had ordered from Hobonichi Direct, I could have gotten the Avec, but all the US stores paired it with an English full year Hobonichi, and I knew I wanted the half year. And the reason for that is this year's Hobonichi was a full year. It's the English version, love it. But as it has gotten chunkier, it is getting harder and harder to make sure that the cover is fully covering my Hobonichi. It has started to slip down a little bit, and I'll find it at times like this. And I know as the year progresses towards the end, that's going to be more and more likely. And so by dividing it up, I'm lessening the chances of the edge of my journals being damaged, which was really important to me. I do want to take a moment and just show you the card that came with this. This is something you get with every order is they send a card, and this is their new one, and I'm totally keeping it and putting it someplace. So they have the entire Chicago skyline, and if you look closely, you can see that like this is a fountain pen nib here and here and here. This looks like a pencil here. There's a fountain pen nib over here and here. There's like tons of little stationary things. Like these look like erasers. They turned the bean into a fountain pen ink jar. I just think it's so cute. And then on the back, now I'm sure that this is Japanese. I have no idea what it says, but I love the fact that they put it there with this order. It shows the personal touch that they do to their products and things. So I'm excited. Love this so much. Okay, what else did I get? Of course I got planners, and I did a pen test in one of them. That's why they're out of the package, so I can show you that. And then I got a bunch of their new products along with like sticky notes, that kind of thing. And I ordered one of the limited edition Preppies here. My discount code does work on the Preppies, I'm pretty sure. As far as how my cousin comes, they always come in these really nice envelopes. It'll say Avec on it in the year. It's a really, I don't know, it's almost water repellent, the material they use, which really helps. And I don't know, I really love it. And you always get one of these little books. I'm sad that I didn't get the robot this year. I would have loved to have that on my desk. I think he's adorable. And if somebody sells one aftermarket, maybe I'll look for one. I'm not sure. But I think it's cute. And I love the theme for this year's Hobonichi, which is You Love You. So adorable. Now, my booklet is in Japanese because my planner is in Japanese. So I can't really read all this to you. I wish I could, but I can't. And on here, I do have the dot picture, and I'm excited to do this as well. I think it's really cool that they included this year, and it'll be fun. All right, now for the Hobonichis themselves. So as I said, the Avec comes in 2 volumes. We have January to June, as well as July through December. Now, most people seem to like either the yellow cover or the blue, but not both. So I'm in the blue camp. You might have noticed I like a lot of blue, gray type things. So that's not a real big deterrent for me though, because I know I can make a cover or put stickers over this, whatever I want to decorate it, and it's not going to be a big deal. So the cover options, I don't think make a huge difference in this case, especially since these are cardboard, or I don't know, it's a premium thick paper cardstock. I don't know. And so it's really easy to decorate these, unlike some other planners might be, and I think that's by design. Now, this is considered a life book. The Cousin is an A5 size, so It is smaller than like a standard sheet of paper, so it's not huge to go around with you, and it's a really nice standard size. It gives me plenty of room to do all the writing I like to do. The binding is made so that the book can lay flat no matter where you are in it. It also has a unique feature where this is probably better demonstrated on this year's book. So, which is why I had it out of the pockets there. So you can see it's quite chunky. I've got a little bit of a bend going on here. So when you get to either the front or back portions, we'll start with the front. So this is just an early spread in here. And you see how this side isn't really supported or anything. That can make it really finicky to write on. So with the binding they do on these books, you can actually fold it over like that, and so you have a completely flat surface. And I've done that a lot with this book, and it doesn't damage the binding because of the type of binding that it is, which is so incredible. So that is a key feature for me because I can make this lay completely flat no matter where we are in the book. Now the front cover is pretty standard. Some people decorate this really pretty. I've seen some things this year where people are stamping it, and at least in the weeks, and that looks really cool. And then you have kind of a blank page here with just the, you know, planner info on it. Our next page is our year at a glance page. This is all in Japanese, so I'll probably get stickers to go over this, but we still have the numbers for the months and the days aren't going to change. So we have the full year of 2026 here, 2025, and 2027. This is made so that you can use it for overall planning. So say you're doing vacation planning or school year, you know, marking all of the holidays and half days and that type of thing. So since an academic year doesn't stop on January 1st, having the next year's calendar here allows you to look into those months and say, okay, we're going to be off for a long weekend here. Maybe we want to go on a trip or something, because you're usually planning those months in advance. And having last year's calendar allows you to do things like, okay, I don't know when, say, spring break is going to be. Last year it was during this week. A lot of schools tend to use about the same week, so I could estimate where spring break might be in this coming year, that type of thing. Then we have the yearly index or yearly schedule. I think our yearly schedule was the original name. So we do have each month here at the top, so you get 3 months per page. So we have, you know, essentially each quarter on a page. And then you have boxes up at the top where you can do, and they even have check boxes in case you're unfamiliar. And then you have the whole month here, and you have your weekends and holidays are always kind of shaded in this off red. Now, some people hate all the colors. You can buy stickers to go over those if you really want to. And then you have some space down at the bottom. I am currently using this as a habit tracker, which works really well for me currently. And I think that's probably what I'm going to do next year. So, and you do get both, all of these pages that I've showed you so far, you're going to get in both volumes. And then we start with December and our monthly spreads. All of the monthlies are together, all of the weeklies, and all of the dailies, which is hard for ADHD people, but I really like it in a lot of ways. So in here, of course, you have your weekends kind of blocked out. Most people don't like that. There are sticker shops that sell covers, like Mandy Lynn Plans is one of them, which also I have a discount code for, which is just 10, and I'll link her down below as well. But you can buy these stickers that just go over this and make it white if you really want it for decorating and that type of thing. We have the number of the month. You have the name of the month, both in Japanese and English, the year, and then you have your days of the week up at the top. You also have the number of the week on the side here. So because it is December, you have week 49, 50, 51, 52, and 1 starting here. You can section that off if you have specific things for each week or whatever you want. They also, in this version, not in the English, but they include some special dates from the old Japanese calendar that people tend to use to set up important dates like weddings and things like that, because it's a luck type thing, if I understand correctly. Feel free to correct me in the comments. It's just my understanding of things. So you do have those additional characters, and I think that might be what this is here. Like some of these additional little characters that you have in here. And so it starts in December, goes through, I think it's March. Hold on. Yep. So, wait. Oh, this one goes through July. So it goes a couple months past whatever the end of that particular planner is in the monthly section. Then you have your weeklies, which will start again. This starts with December 29th and goes through the first week. So you don't get December in your weekly section. And here you, of course, have all your dates across the top. You have your monthly section here. You have a little calendar. They always circle the days here so you know which week you're in. And it's really set up well and thought out well. The size of the grid is like 3.7. These are all done with kind of a dark gray, I wouldn't say black quite. And you have a 24-hour clock here. It starts at 5 a.m. and goes to 4 a.m. at the bottom. Then you have blank space at the top for recording weather, or if there's something special on that day, or a focus, whatever you need there. You also have a nice sidebar for recording things as well. And then between your weekly setups, which this weekly will go to July 5th, then you have a 2-page spread. This is called Turning the Page to a New Year. So you have an opportunity to put things from the year you're coming from and future plans. I think that's how they intended to be used. A lot of people will use this as a vision board or something of that nature, or goals, those type of things. Then we go into the monthly spreads, and each month has its own unique color. For the spreads, they're muted enough that they just kind of fade into the background, but each month is meant to pay tribute to something about that month. It is Japanese culture, so it's not always the same meanings as we would have in like the US or the UK or something like that. And we always come with kind of a dashboard type page. It has a line across the side that has the full color all the way down. Makes it easy to match things too if that's something you want to do. Then you have the month up here, and this portion down here that I cannot read will tell you in Japan what fruits and vegetables and seasonal things might be important to pay attention to. So if you want to make sure you're eating seasonal foods and that type of thing, it is there for you. Then on this side, we start with our first day of the month, and you have the month number here, the date here, the day of the week, the moon phase. Underneath of it, it tells you what day of the year you're at. And then I think this might be the month wrote out, but I'm not 100% positive. Then you also have a schedule over here. Actually, let's zoom in just a little bit so you can see a little better. So you have your schedule over here, and it starts, I think each line is an hour. So starting at 4 a.m. and going to, or maybe it starts at 5 and going to 4, somewhere in there. So it's definitely a 24-hour clock again. Now, the Japanese one does do the 24 hours in the time stamping as well. So, you know, instead of having, like, I think it's 3 o'clock, you have the 15 and so on and so forth. Hobonichi even pays attention to how their boxes intersect so that they are nice and crisp, and you always have that very direct intersection. They take care of any of the dots behind all of the numbers so they're more easy to see and not distracting. And then because all of the lines in here are dot, it makes them fade into the background. And by having one line that is solid here, they call it the invisible line. A lot of people don't notice it. It can fade into the background if you really don't want to pay attention to it, but it also sections off this area in order for you to use it for your schedule if you want to. Then at the top, you have 5 check boxes for your priorities of the day, which is super helpful for me. You get this large area here to do your journaling or whatever you want. I tend to use it for my tomorrow brain dumps. And then you have an area down here to do things. You have the calendar down here, and they do circle the days down here as well, so you always know where you are in the month. They have quotes at the bottom. In the English version, you can read them, and in this one, I can't. Most people can. And then they also have some faint symbols down here. I think that's a holiday thing. And you go through that all the way through your whole, probably through June. And so you'll see January is this reddish color. February is brown. March is purple. Red, or April is red, or like a berry color. And then we have May as green, which seems very fitting. And June is so this is a light green, and this is a darker green. All right, now for our pages at the back, and I think the first one I'll show you because it comes right at the end is the pen test I did. Now I did put a piece of paper underneath just in case things bled through. There was a little bit of bleed through that I can tell you about. But on here, and I want to make sure you guys can see really close up. So I tested the Uni Jetstream here, no issues at all, didn't expect any. The Energel Clina, this is a pen that bled through everywhere for me last year. I did it in 0.5 and 0.3, black and blue. I did a Pilot Emily, I think is what it's called. It's a color changing pen in a 0.4. The Zebra Blend, another one that I had a lot of issues with last year. I did the Edding Fine Liners in 0.3, a Pilot Permanent Pen in a 0.4, the Tombow Fudesuki, or Fudenus, like calligraphy one. We also did some fine liners. Those didn't have a brand name on them, so I will show you. I know I've seen the brand, but these ones were purchased with a lettering packet, so they are actually branded to the person who did the lettering packet. So, but it's the brown ones. I did those in all the different sizes. I did highlighters. I have a Zebra glitter highlighter here, as well as a Right Tech retractable highlighter. I tested these last year. I did a Zebra Click Art, a mild liner, the Zig color dot marker, Tombow brush pen, just the water base, because I've discovered that the alcohol just bleeds through everything and it's not worth it. A metallic Zebra brush pen, and then I have some brush pens from Edding. One was a glitter. Now I probably shouldn't have picked this one because it does also bleed through everything, and that is the one thing that bled through enough to make it onto this other sheet of paper. The other one was the Edding metallic. And then I did some testing with different stamps down here. So this one is the Archer and Olive permanent black ink pad. This one was the Versa Magic chalk ink, and that was in Midnight Black. And then I had kind of an off-brand purple one that I tried here as well. So overall, I'm really happy with what I'm seeing there. And then this side is all my fountain pen ink testing. So I wanted to do extensive testing because this is the most important part to me. So I took some of my pens that I'm currently using that I have been having problems with bleed through and feathering issues. So I did an Estabrook Model J. It's a flex, and I couldn't remember if it's a fine or a medium. It writes like a medium, but it might say on the side it's a fine. and it's a flex nib, so it flows really well. It's inked up with Diamine's Nightfall, which is a very dark ink. It bleeds through a lot of things. Then I had Jinhao Shark in a fine, inked up with Platinum Carbon Black, which in my current planner is bleeding through everywhere. Then I had the Conklin 1998. This is a medium nib. This is Private Reserve's Infinity Burgundy. Again, an ink that is bleeding through everywhere for me. Then I had my Pilot Penmanship. This one has feathered and bled through on multiple occasions. I am starting to suspect it's the pen and not so much the ink that is causing the feathering. So I am a little suspect of the results here because we do have some slight feathering. It's inked up with Pilot Yamabuto, and I haven't had a ton of issues with that particular ink, but as you can tell, it did feather here. Then I did some test with my Pilot dip pen, which is a medium point, and I did J. Herbon's Violet Peonies, I think. And I wanted to make sure I did an adequate test. I'm also making sure to make little boxes because that's how I test my ink, or like swatch it on my pages for me. So I did that one. I also did Private Reserve's Infinity Green, which was another one that I had a lot of issues with feathering and bleed through this last year. All of these inks here are inks that I had issues with. Then we have Diatramentus Blackberry from that same dip pen, and that's because that one would feather on and off because it's a pretty wet ink. Then we have Diamine's Sleigh Ride. This is when I switched to my Kakamori dip pen because I wanted to see if it would bring out some specific qualities. Now, Diamine's Sleigh Ride, if you watched my swatching of last year, one of the issues with the paper was that it wasn't producing the sheen that it was supposed to. And you were only getting that reddish color. It was bleeding through like crazy. But this year, the sheen is just fine. I also tested it with Diamine's Vibe, and that one also sheened just fine. I wanted to see how the chromo shading inks would perform, so I went ahead and did Sailor's Mono Fuji. So with that ink, you get blues and purples and a little bit of a pink, and you can see all of those colors are present. Then I did Robert Oster's Sidewalk Gum, which is a really shimmery ink. It is a little on the wetter side, so we do have some slight feathering only on this one, which is a little weird. Like the rest of the letters seem to be okay. So I don't know. When it came to bleed through though, this is what my page looks like. So much better than last year. I like breathed a huge sigh of relief, not only because I didn't see a ton of feathering, but to not have the bleed through. Now there are a couple that did. So I do have a dot or two of the Yamabuto. But again, this is in the swatch area, not in the writing area. So I think for writing, it'll be just fine. There's a teeniest dot here from the Estermark Model J, which was the Diamine Nightfall ink. But as you can see, it's literally a dot. And that is also in the swatch area. And then other than that, you have ghosting, but you do not have bleed through. And my inks were fine this year as well, like my stamp pad inks. The only ones that really bled through on the other side was definitely the Eddington glitter. You can see that was horrendous. The metallic is fine. Click Art has a couple of tiny specks, but it's not bad considering what we saw last year. The dot marker is fine. The Tombow is fine. I do have a little bit of a area here. That was the Zebra glitter pen, and it had a lot more ink right at the beginning. These all seem fine. The Pilot permanent pen did bleed through. It's kind of like a Sharpie, so I wasn't expecting this not to bleed through. Zebra blend bled through a little bit. Not bad. bad, but enough that if I have other options, I'm going to use those. That is a 0.7 and that ink is really juicy. So, you know, it's not completely out of nowhere. But that being said, this paper, now let me show you what last year's ink test, in case you were unaware, looked like and why everyone was so up in arms. So here's last year, right? Looks okay. We have some feathering going on here. The pens looked okay here, but then when you turned the page, like the click art led through like crazy. A bunch of the pens here did, a bunch of these did, and then these are some of the marks. I like put page flags on them. So here's that red ink that I tested and how it was bleeding through. Some places and some pages were better than others. This was a pen test that I did not that long ago, so you can again see some of these bleeding through. We had, this is the Detrimentus and how it kind of feathered and everything. And here you have, this one was the Violet Peonies. So you can see how that was feathering. It definitely is a lot better this year, and I'm super happy to see that. I did buy several notebooks or planners because I wasn't sure of that. Now, after you get through, so there's like 5, I want to say, blank pages here in the back. Then you go to a page where you have a timetable. This is for putting in schedules. If you're in school or something, you have a perfect place to put your school schedule. If you're a parent, you have a good place to put, you know, your kids' schedule, or how multiple kids' schedules, we'll say, and where they need to be. You also have the ability to put in here like a cleaning schedule, or, you know, anything that you have a routine basis on. Then you get a page with a graph on it. A lot of people use this for tracking weight or, you know, debt reduction, things like that that you want to track over the full year. Then we have a favorites page, and in here it's kind of tracking your favorite like movie, book, song, restaurant or meal, shop purchase, or maybe the hands. Is that plays? I think it might be plays. And you get 12 in here, so you can do 1 per month, and you can give it a star rating. Then we have a My 100. Now, and I can't remember if this is new to this year or if it's just an AVAC thing, but you have the My 100 on 1 page opposed to 2. So you have 100 here. I'm thinking I'm going to use this with my fountain pen inks, but I'm not 100% positive right now. Then over here we have, I think these are supposed to be like favorite foods or something on the side. Then we have some different pages that I can't really tell you much about because I don't remember what they were supposed to be. So we have a couple pages like this. I'll probably get big stickers that I can put over these, or maybe use them to put washi tape on or something like that. Then we have a gifts list area, as well as a measurements conversion type area. And we have all of this here, and then you have an address area and your personal information. So if you lose your planner, it can get back to you. So that is everything in the AVAC. Volume 2 is just the same. Now let's get into some of these brand new products, which I'm so excited about. Oh, and I did pick up these 3 stickers. These are not Hobonichi. These are actually for my son's girlfriend because she loves stickers and she lost a bunch, and they love cats. So I need love. Really cute one. These are like vinyl stickers that you can put on like water bottles and stuff. And then there's this one, Meowton, really cute, and Cat Collector. So if you like these type of stickers, they have a lot of them. Anyhow, so these are all new products that they came out with this year. I think I'm not 100% positive. This one might have been in existence before this year, but I'm not sure. So this one is, it's an add-on sticky note. Whoop. A thought it was going to be stuck to there. So what this is, we're going to take one off so we can add it in. So they are the exact same grid size paper, only in sticky note form. So if I go to, say, I don't know, January, and I want to say I did all my pen swatching here, but I really wanted to include all my goals as well. So I can add this sticky note in here, and it is perforated along this line, so you can fold it just like that. And now you have a kind of flip out portion. I can put my goals on here, but I can still see what's underneath of it and everything. You can also use it if for any reason this year has bad paper. I feel like this is something, or maybe for the end of this year, where you could cover up the writing underneath and rewrite what you need to there. You could probably very easily trim this down. I do want to move this just to line it up as best I can with the grid to see how well that goes. Well, there you go. Oh, that would be really fun to be able to do that and have like a peekaboo, you know, maybe special event and you wanted to write more about it, make it like a book or something. I think these are going to be really fun to use. So I have a whole booklet of these. Oh, and it shows that you can use them in this direction as well. So these were made by Hobonichi. I don't know how many come in a pack though. Oh, 40 sheets. There you go. So I think I'm going to love having access to those. Now they came out with these in a couple of different designs, and I feel like they fit really well up here. At least that's what I was seeing. These are sticky note guide. Now I got these ones because I felt like these are the ones that I was more likely to use, though I may go back and get more of them. So I could totally put this over my stuff at the top if I wanted a different feel, more color blocking, or if I wanted to add some things down here at the bottom. Say I'm doing my AM or PM routine. Oh, that was me. Sorry, guys. I could totally put this at the bottom here, right at my routine, and still have access to the paper underneath for other things, or even put it over the writing. I may want to use more adhesive to stick it down, or a little bit of washi tape or something if I want it there more permanently, but I love this as well. And so it has the brown one with the 5 check marks, a purple dot grid, a blue graph, and then this one is I think it's centimeters probably, measuring tape here, which could be kind of fun as well, especially if you're, say, measuring your kids or something and you want to put it as a growth chart. That might be really fun. Next we have these are the new Hobonichi tabs. So the old ones were a little bit more square and I didn't like them as much as I like this design, and it looks like they're going to perfectly match the colors of the Hobonichi. And it does kind of show you where you should put them in relation to your tab, which is also kind of nice. They're also spaced, so they should be really easy to put down. I'm not going to put them down today, but we are going to take them out and look at them. They are clear, it looks like. So yeah, you can totally perfectly line it up there if you wanted to. The spacing should be perfect and everything. And I think these are just called tabs. Oh, and you get a second set. Oh, I like these even more. That are blank, so you can put your own things on them. And the colors match up perfectly, it looks like. So if you wanted to, say, have some for the weekly section and some for the daily section, you could totally do that. Really nice. And love the size. And then it looked like on here, you almost have like a guide that you could put in. I'm not sure if that's what it's meant for, if it's just really showing you how to do it. Either way, I really like these as well. And then we have two more things. I did get the tiny dots here. Now, I wasn't sure what size I wanted, but I wanted to be able to use these either in my index section or on here. So I wanted the smallest size. They did come out, I think, with 3 or 4 sizes, and this is the smallest of them. So, and like I said, there's a couple of different things I would like to do with these. So we get one, how many does it say? 12 colors, 2 sheets. And you tell me how many dots? And they're 3.5 millimeters. So really small, transparent, so I can just show you. They do look like they're going to be the perfect size for going over numbers. That makes me happy. The ones I currently have are just a tiny bit too big. And then in here, again, it looks like they're going to fit perfectly in this grid. I'll pull it up a little closer for you guys. So if you look kind of at the green at that top row, I've lined it up so it could be right inside that box. And I'll show you the numbers again. So it does fit over these numbers perfectly. And those ones. Hold on. Let's see here. I lined up the 16 there for you guys. So the next size up might work a little better on here. I don't know. But these also cover perfectly these numbers over here. So that's really nice. I'm really happy with that. I'll have to decide how I want to, color code those. And then the last thing is this. And, last thing I wanted to mention about these. So the dots are actually all the colors of your grids in the back. So if you want to color coordinate your whole day, they also have a pen set. It hasn't reached the US and it did sell out on Hobonichi's website, but they did come out with a full pen set that'll support every color that they use in here. I'm hoping when that comes to Atlas, I can get it. I'm pretty sure they're going to have those come in. Their restock should be in October, and they'll probably come in with all of that. The last thing I got were the translucent sticky notes. There's 12 colors, 40 sheets each. And one of the things that I really like to do is add sticky notes to my monthly spread. The problem is, in the weekly as well, that the sticky notes that I have are too big. And so other than the Moxie Life ones that I have some that work perfect for like the column width, but most of them are way too big. So I wanted sticky notes that would work in these columns. And I'm pretty sure that's what we have here. They actually look like they'll be smaller. So they probably are like universally made so they would work with the weeks and everything. They are the translucent, so you will have to use a permanent pen if you want to write on these. But let's check it out. Look at that. That's going to be so awesome and fun to do. Now, I didn't get their sticker pack. I thought about it, but it's so diverse in colors that I wasn't sure I was going to like that. So there it is on the monthly spread. Let's take a look at what it looks like on the weekly as well. Here's a weekly. So I could put it, I don't know, right underneath the 6 a.m. Gives me almost 2 grid spaces past. It doesn't quite take up 2 grid spaces down. So in case you were wondering, I really like that aspect. And then this should as well match my monthly color. Where did I take this one from? I think I took it from the one, but you can also see how they've numbered them here, so you know which month we go to, and it also gives you the dimensions here, which is amazing. So I love that they are coming out with these type of products, and yeah. The last thing that is in this order is, of course, my new Platinum Preppy. This is one of the limited editions they came out with this year, and I thought it was so pretty. So I think it was somewhere between $13 and $15. So not hugely expensive. And look at how pretty it is. And the flowers are all glittery. It's got a blue background. It comes, this one is, I can't remember if it was a fine or a medium. Hold on. Do you say? Usually they say on the nib somewhere. It says 03, so I'm betting it's a fine. I think you have the option between the two, and this one does come with a cartridge, not a converter. I think I do have a converter I can put in here, but you know what? Let's just ink her up. Let's see how she does. That's all you have to do to load this one. So super easy, very first time pen friendly. Then we just have to wait for that ink to get down. You can see it's working its way there really fast. I'm guessing it's like a blue color because the pen's blue, but do we know? Okay, these are saffron stickers is what it says. But what ink do we have? So I don't see on the packaging where it says what color ink this is. So we're gonna do this until our ink flows. Might take a minute or two. Oh my goodness, there's a little arrow. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I don't know if it's supposed to make a little arrow, but I don't think my other one does. So let's test it on the sticky note. Let's see. Pilot. Pen. No, this isn't a Pilot pen. Hold on. This is the Platinum Preppy. I wonder if I could do my ink swatches on this. Oh, we do have a dot or two of bleed through, it looks like. Let's test it on the same page as the other inks and see if it looks the same. Oh, it didn't bleed through here, so I think I'm good there. So yeah, maybe I'll use it for other things, but that's really cool. Writes really smooth, just a nice cheap pen. I wanted another one that I could take out and about with me and not worry too much about. And I've discovered that the fine tip pens are probably my go-to for this size grid. So anyhow, that's everything I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, I'll see you real soon.